Today we're going to be talking about motivation, specifically how to motivate yourself to do things that you maybe don't really want to do, things that are good for you, things you know really you do want to be doing, you feel like maybe you should be doing, things that are actually going to, if we're blatantly honest about it, be the means by which you achieve your goals. So you want certain things in your life, and guess what? It requires you to do some certain things to get those goals, right? To get those outcomes. And there may be aspects of those actions that you don't want to take. So I'm going to be giving you an insight today that I think is really fascinating. I had this insight the other day while I was engaging in some activity which I didn't really want to be doing, but I was doing to achieve my goal. And I'm going to share it with you because I see it playing out for everybody. It's human nature, and it's something that's super fascinating. And once you understand this about yourself, you're going to be much more empowered to be able to guide your mind and direct your focus in a way that's going to get you to do the things that you need to do to achieve the things you want to achieve. Now, first of all, I want you to understand that basic human psychology, we want to avoid pain and we want to get pleasure. That's what we're all running around doing. We're trying to get away from stuff that we don't like and we don't want to do, and we're trying to get all the stuff we want and we're trying to get pleasure. And in any given moment, you want to be knowing that whatever is stronger is going to win out. So your desire to avoid pain or your desire to gain pleasure, whichever one is stronger in a given moment will dominate you and will cause you to act in that way. So if in one moment I'm more motivated to get out of pain than I am to get pleasure, pain will motivate me. If in any moment I'm more motivated by gaining pleasure than I am by avoiding pain, then I will act upon that. So when you understand the like little levers that you have about avoiding pain and gaining pleasure, you start to realize that these are motivating factors. So when you want to achieve a particular goal and you realize that it's about either gaining pleasure or avoiding pain, you start to see how you could potentially use this for your benefit. Like I've seen people kind of want to achieve their goals, but to be honest, the pleasure of achieving their goals is not a really big driver for them. They're more driven to get out of pain. They're more dissatisfied with their circumstances than they are about getting anything in terms of their goals and success. They just want to get out of pain, and they are highly motivated to get out of that pain. Okay? Or you might have people that aren't particularly in pain, but they are so obsessed with the goal that they've got, so obsessed with what they want to achieve, that the pleasure of that is like they can almost taste it, and they are driven to do whatever they'll have to do to gain that. Typically speaking, most people are more motivated by getting out of pain than they are by gaining pleasure. Okay, that's just like the primitive part of ourselves. We don't want to be in pain, so we avoid it at all costs. Here's what's interesting about goals, and this is what I was thinking about the other day as I was doing something that I didn't really want to do, but I knew I needed to do, and that something was I was running 3.5 Ks after doing 100 and something sit-ups and 100 and something lunges and 100 and something, I don't know, whatever it was at CrossFit, and I was in pain. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this pain? And I saw some people walking along in the sunshine, enjoying themselves, and I saw someone else running and sweating and in their pain. And of course, my personal growth and personal development life coaching brain is always switched on. So I'm always observing myself and other people to see what we can learn about ourselves. And so I formulated this daily inspiration while I was out there running along in my pain. And here's the thing. In almost every goal of something that you want to achieve, something that you want in your life, you are going to have an element of pain and there's going to be an element of pleasure. So whether it is you want to lose weight, whether it is that you want to get a relationship, a loving relationship, or you want to achieve a business goal, for example, okay? There is pain and pleasure in both are present in the process of achieving almost every goal. So look at weight loss. Well, pain, I've got to do some exercise, and exercise is painful for my body and I would prefer not to do it. And there's pleasure. The pleasure is I get to feel great about myself, that I'm at my goal weight and I'm feeling amazing and I've got more energy. If you look at relationship, the pain, I've got to go through dating. Don't really like dating. It's uncomfortable. I might meet some people that I don't really want to be around. Uncomfortable. But the pleasure is I'm going to get a great, loving relationship. It's going to be amazing for my life. I'm going to have companionship. Awesome. With a business goal, for example, a career goal, the pain might be, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do so much hard work to achieve whatever goal I've got, and I'm going to have to do long hours, I'm going to have to learn new skills or do aspects of my business that I don't really find that enjoyable. But the pleasure is I get to achieve my goal, I get massive payback, I might get more financial abundance, I might make more relationships, I might serve more people, and that's what I'm interested in, and helping the community, whatever it is. There's always pain and pleasure present in all these different goals. But here is the thing. Because we want to avoid pain and we prefer to seek pleasure, usually to get the pleasure of your goal, you have to go through the pain first. So you've got to do the work in your business to get the business outcome. You've got to go through the dating to get the relationship. You've got to go through the exercise to get your body fit, to get your weight down, to do whatever you need to do. The pain bit comes first, and the pleasure bit typically comes after, or at different stages along that journey. But it's pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure. Now, when I use the word pain, I just mean effort, right? I don't mean physical pain, but effort. Putting in the effort, putting in the work, putting in the commitment, putting in the hours, whatever it might be, putting yourself outside your comfort zone. Pain first, pleasure second. The thing is that most of us are wired to avoid pain, and so the pain comes first, so we all run the other direction, and what do? Seek pleasure. Instead of exercising, I'll eat this junk food. Instead of going on this uncomfortable date, I will go and sit on the couch and get comfortable with myself in my comfort zone and just hang out with my friends. Instead of putting in the hours to need to do this thing for my business, I am going to go and faff around doing something that I'm much better at, that is not part of my strategy, and that is not going to take me anywhere, but it's easy and I like it and I enjoy it, so I'm going to go and do that. So what we do is we avoid the pain bit up front to get the pleasure bit up front, to get the comfort up front. Here is the problem with that. We get short-term pleasure when we do that, and we get long-term pain. We get short-term pleasure because we don't have to go outside our comfort zone, and we get to eat the food, or the delicious food, or we get to hang out with our friends, or we get to, spend money if it's a money and financial goal. We get to do these things that give us pleasure, and it only lasts for a very short space of time. That hit does not last very long before the long-term pain kicks in. The pain of the overweight, the pain of low energy, the pain of not feeling good about yourself, the pain of being alone and not being in a relationship, the pain of your business not working, your career going nowhere, the pain of being in debt and not having the savings and financial abundance you want. The short-term pleasure equals long-term pain. But look at this. If you put in the short-term pain, effort, commitment required, get your butt up and do some exercise for half an hour, make a better health choice in that moment, that 2-minute moment where you've got to make a choice about what you're going to eat. If you go on the date, right, the 1-hour date you need to go on in order to see if this person could be a relationship, the couple of hours you need to do to learn your new skill in your business, the short-term pain, you get massive, massive long-term pleasure. Long-term pleasure of feeling amazing about yourself and energizing in the body you want to be in. You get the long-term pleasure of being in the relationship. You get the long-term pleasure of your business rocking out. This is the craziness of us when we're unconscious and not making good decisions and not aware of how we're motivated, what motivates us, is that we choose short-term pleasure that gives us long-term pain instead of choosing short-term pain and getting long-term pleasure. So as I was running along, feeling all of my pain, I was thinking to myself, isn't it interesting that most people have a struggle sometimes to get up and do these things, like for example with physical exercise and putting yourself through this carnage. And I was like, why do I do it? And I was like, you know what, the reason I do it is because I don't want long-term pain. I don't want health problems when I'm older. I don't want to spend money on doctor's bills. I don't want to feel low energy. I don't want to feel shitty about my body. I want to feel great about myself. I want confidence. I want to, look amazing. I want to have the vitality. I want to live a really long life. And so I was thinking to myself, well, the reason I do this is because I'm just trading things off. I'm trading off a little bit of short-term pain for massive long-term pleasure, for massive long-term payback. And it does not even occur to me in most situations to take the short-term hit of pleasure, because I'm just like, that's long-term pain. So as soon as you start to realize in any given moment when you want to be motivated to follow through, You want to be motivated to do what is good for you, and you want to be motivated to do things that you think you don't want to do. You want to get very, very clear on this pain-pleasure balance. Am I trading off long-term pleasure by having some short-term pain? Okay, so that's what you want to do. Or am I choosing some short-term pleasure and I'm getting long-term pain? It doesn't make sense. When you realize this, you'll say, well, this is going to be short-term pain, right? It's going to be short-term pain for me to go out and put myself out here, learn this new skill I don't want to do for my business or my career. You know, have to go and do public speaking, maybe, which you hate, for like 1 hour, or, you know, go and exercise and put yourself through the pain for an hour. You have to remind yourself that is short-term pain for massive, big-time, long-term pleasure and payback. So I want you to think about that with whatever it is that you're avoiding, and I want you to start to get very, very conscious about it. You go to eat something you know that you don't really want to be eating, that is not good for you, that does not fit with your long-term goals. Go, this is short-term pleasure for long-term pain. Hands off, that is long-term pain. So you want to look at the thing that you keep doing that you don't want to do, and say to yourself, every time you look at it, long-term pain, that's long-term pain, that's long-term pain, that's long-term pain. You want to train your mind to know that's long-term pain, because your mind goes, oh, pleasure, I can eat that, pleasure, I can avoid this. No, it's not pleasure. Tell yourself the truth. Get real with yourself. That is long-term pain. Then when you're like, oh, do I have to go to the gym? Or, oh, am I really going to have to go on this date? Or I'm going to have to do this public speaking? Or I'm going to have to learn this new skill? Don't let your mind go there. Say to yourself, that is big time long-term pleasure. This is big time long-term payback. I want this, I want this, I want this. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful as a little idea to get you to motivate yourself in areas where you're struggling with it, to understand your pain and pleasure levers and motivators, and learn how to talk to yourself and about situations in a totally different way. Disassociate pleasure with things that are really painful and start to associate pleasure and satisfaction and long-term gain with things that maybe you've been avoiding but are actually super, super good for you. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you again really soon for more daily inspiration with B. If you've got any comments, any questions, you want to share anything, make sure you leave a comment below, and I'll be seeing you again really soon.